If you think life in Raleigh is all growth and easy living, this might surprise you. Let's talk about the good stuff and the things that no one prepares you for. The first pro of living in Raleigh, North Carolina is that we don't have a lot of snow days. In fact, we usually get 1 or 2 inches of snow per year. So the city doesn't even really have snow plows. Nobody really has scrapers for their yard or their driveway or anything like that in this area. If you look behind me, you'll see gray skies. It's not raining. It's actually not very cold. It's probably about 50 degrees. Raleigh sits just below a major weather pattern that comes through and will blow up the Northeast and the Midwest and all of those areas. However, we just don't get extremities on the snow portion of it. We do get ice and we do get cold. And what that equates to is ice storms, slick roads, things like that. And usually the city will kind of shut down at that point. They put out weather warnings. Why do they put out weather warnings if there's no snow, Chris? Well, that's because they don't want to send out the buses with high winds getting knocked over or causing accidents, and then the roads get slick. So that's the weather that we have to deal with here. As you can see, it's not really that bad right now, but overnight it turns really quick. Here's con number 1 of living in Raleigh, North Carolina. Growth is exponential here, and it's causing traffic to be overwhelming at times. What's happened is houses have been built so fast and about 100 people move into the area every day, and the roads and the infrastructure has not been able to grow fast enough to keep up with the traffic. So be ready to get stuck on a little 2-lane road, stuck behind some traffic as you're picking up the kids or maybe moving around during commuter time. This is a detail that a lot of people miss. So your commuter time can vary by neighborhood. You want to check that out on a map first. Also, the average commuter time for Raleigh is 30 minutes, which I find that not to be too bad because when I lived in Southern California, it took me an hour to get to work. That leads right into con number 2. A lot of people look at North Carolina from all over the country or maybe up in New York or California. They say, oh, well, the housing must be more affordable there. But across the country, we've had an increase in housing prices not directly in ratio to wages. This is where things start to change for people who are moving to the area. Home buyers have to adjust their expectations on the size of the house and the size of the lot according to what their needs are. Which leads us into con number 3. Large lot properties are hard to come by here. Here's why that actually matters. Most homes that are being built are sitting on smaller lots. Larger lots come at a premium and are harder to find. So if you're expecting to move to the area and just buy a big farm on lots and lots of acreage, please be aware you're going to be farther outside of the city, outside of all of the major centers. Sometimes that might be a 10-15-minute drive to shopping. That's really not that bad. Let's get to pro number 2, and this is something that a lot of people miss. People are super friendly in the South. If you're not from the area, people will stop you and have a conversation in the middle of the supermarket. Just happened to me yesterday. Hey, how are you? I'm fine. I'm getting ready for the storm. I'm stocking supplies. All of a sudden, I'm having a conversation with a whole stranger. What a lot of people overlook is that those conversations can go on and on and on, and they kind of can get a little personal. And they start asking about your family and your life and your job. And before you know it, you're kind of having an intimate conversation with somebody you might have just met who's a stranger. So there's both sides to that for sure. Overall, I really appreciate Southern hospitality. Con number 4 has to do with walkability, and it's something that most people who move to the area completely overlook. Walkability is available in certain areas, but there's specific towns and specific areas that you would be able to walk to shops, restaurants, and stores. You want to be careful where you're choosing, because if you really want walkability or you really want a cute downtown that you can visit each day, you're going to want to position yourself in just the right area to either be able to walk or use a bike, maybe an electric bike, to get to where you need to be. North Carolina is a sprawl, and it is something that most people overlook. What we find is people contact us saying, I need the metro lifestyle, I want to walk places, and I want to be able to get to shops and restaurants. We'll show you the exact spot on the map to look and start sending you houses that fit your criteria. Send us an email or a text and let us know what you're looking for. Maybe it's walkability, or maybe you want a lot of land out in the middle of nowhere. Either way, we've got something that will work for you, and we can start sending you some options. All right, we've gotten to pro number 3, and that has to do with the trees, the landscape, the greenery. There are so many trees here. It is absolutely stunning in the springtime, gorgeous in the summer, and no matter what, there's evergreens and pine trees, a lot of green here in the Raleigh area. And I personally find it refreshing. I grew up in a concrete jungle out in California, and this is like heaven to me, quite honestly. There is a downside to this pro, so we can call this a pro and a con. If you're planning to buy some land and you've got trees out in the backyard, you need to be ready for those trees to grow old, rot, or get diseased, and possibly need to be trimmed or removed. That's a cost and expense a lot of buyers overlook. This expense can get ugly. I mean, $5,000 or $6,000 to remove a couple of trees, that could really impact your budget. So these are things that some people don't think about, and we want to advise you on that in case you're searching for a really wooded area or a large lot with lots of trees on it. Be ready for that expense. I'll tell you one more bonus tip that a lot of people don't think about. Who's gonna cut all that shrubbery and all that lawn? Let's say you have a large expanse of land. Number one, you might think about getting a ride-on mower or one of those 360 mowers that goes 50 miles an hour so you can get all around your lot. We had to consider these things. You might just hire a landscaper, a lot of people do, and have them just come out during the season and make sure it's cut down. But maintenance on a big property can get expensive. A lot of people are choosing to get the smaller properties and newer developments with no trees. They have a lot less expense and a lot less to deal with. Next up is something that not a lot of people talk about. I have clients come to me on a consistent basis and say, I have to be in Wake County because of Wake County schools. That's great. If you look at certain websites like Great Schools or whatever, you're going to see ratings for those schools. And most of the Wake County schools have good ratings, 7, 8, 9 out of 10 even. But what people don't tell you, I'm about to show on the screen. This is a US News report, and it's about the test scores for Wake County. As you can see, kids are not doing fantastic in math and reading in the Wake system. I would challenge you to really consider other schools, even private schools, in the Wake County area, because there's some fantastic schools in the area that have much better scores than some of the Wake County. Now, I'm not gonna bag on all of Wake County because there are some great schools here too, but much of the public school system is not what it's made up to be in most people's minds. That being said, I have good news for you, and that is the North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship. Google it when you're done watching this video and see how much your family could qualify for to help fund your child's private school or any school that you want. It applies to homeschool, hybrid school, private school, religious school, whatever it may be. And the scholarship is lottery system and it does run out, but most of my friends who have applied for it have received the scholarship and put it towards a private school. Those are big things to think about that not a lot of people talk about on these videos. We're down to our last 2 points. One's a con and one's a pro. Let's end on the positive, so I'm gonna tell you one more con. This is con number 6. North Carolina has a beautiful landscape of all kinds of different places. We have outdoors, we have woods, we have hiking, we have mountains, we have rivers, all of the good stuff. We also have beaches. If you move to Raleigh, North Carolina, it's a minimum of 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to the beach. Look on the map and map out where you're thinking about moving and how far the drive is to the beach before you move there, if you're a beach bunny and you gotta get out into the water. I grew up in Southern California. I love the beach. We don't get to the beach as much as we used to because it's a 2.5 hour drive, and I've got little kids. As they get older, we'll get out there a lot more. The other side of it, the other direction, are the mountains out west, and that's a 3 hour and 15-minute drive to get up to elevation where you'll see more snow, you'll see more wildlife. It's just beautiful and gorgeous up there. But it's a drive either way, so keep that in mind. A lot of people overlook it. Finally, let's end on pro number 4, and that is diversity of food is a pro here in the Raleigh area. We have Indian food. We have authentic Chinese. If you want a clue on the best Chinese food in the area, go ahead and text me on that one. And we have everything else. So you've got Western food, barbecue, American food, Southern food, chicken and grits, biscuits, all kinds of different food. Now here's the downside to that. There is a variety of different types of foods. There's just not a depth to how many different options you have. So if you're a foodie and you really love to see a different restaurant every weekend, and you gotta have a lot of variety and a lot of depth to how many different options you can choose, Raleigh might not be the perfect choice for that, but we do have a lot of really great diverse food. If you like this video, subscribe, and up next is gonna be a video right here with more information about the area that might work for you in Raleigh. Check out that video and contact me for more information.